Is retaining and recruiting top talents one of your top priorities? I wouldn't be surprised if you said yes. Most of the conversations I'm having with leaders and teams are how do we get in the right people and how do we keep them for a long time? 71% of working Americans say that if they were happier and more resilient, it would be easier to retain and recruit top talent. I was surprised when I found this in my study, and I promise I didn't make this up. But if you think about the connection between happy, resilient cultures and people who want to stay in their organizations, of course they are connected. And it's not just about having happy-go-lucky, cheesy people around. It's really about understanding what it means to have a happy, resilient workforce and a happy, resilient company culture. 71% of working Americans also said that if their workplace had more happiness and resilience, it would improve the overall company culture. And I think that as organizations, we are interested in putting ping pong tables in the break rooms and offering cereal for breakfast. But if we started to look at how we can improve the company culture by increasing happiness, it's got to be more than just food and fun. Now, I think that's important. Both food and fun increase my personal happiness, and I know they are effective in other organizations. But as you think about recruiting and retaining top talent, I think that we need to go a step further. I think that we need to be having conversations about training on emotional intelligence. We need to be looking at how we encourage at every level of the organization, from employees to managers to directors, VPs, and even at the C-suite, how we're improving conversations on emotional intelligence. I also feel like it's important to remember, and I've shared this before, but I need to say it again. In the age of artificial intelligence, emotional intelligence needs to be center stage. When you are talking about recruiting and retaining the best kinds of employees, you need to be able to know that you can have the emotional ability to discern truth, to be able to self-regulate your emotions when tensions are high, projects are going wrong. And you need to make sure that if you're responsible for the energy of any group of people, be that employees, leadership teams, or even stockholders, that you're able to have the emotional wellness necessary to navigate some of those difficult conversations, which means that this all is inseparably connected as we talk about corporate talent and corporate culture. So as you think about your human resources teams, what kinds of conversations can you have with them to help them understand the importance of emotional intelligence? What are some ways you can change the enrollment and also even hiring processes to ensure that you have emotional intelligence as a company value and culture? But then also, how do you look at your existing employees and figure out how to improve their own emotional intelligence so that as people are onboarding and coming in, that they feel like they belong and that they are also welcomed for their own emotional intelligence? Now, as we talk about emotional intelligence, I also think it's important for us to talk about trust. There was a bump. 73% of working Americans believed that building trust within the company would improve workplace happiness. So trust among leaders, trust among team members, trust among corporate executives and employees, that trust was incredibly important. So gone are the days where if you want to retain top talent, if you are avoiding being transparent, that will no longer work. Increased communication and increased honesty and integrity are important leadership traits that working Americans are saying are valuable and important to them. And so if they're coming into a culture that already feels like there's a disconnect within their own integrity and value levels, or if they're asked to do things that don't match within those integrity levels, they're willing to leave their jobs over it. So as you think about one of the responsibilities that you have, especially if you're watching this video, to retain and recruit top talent, I hope you're starting to see the connection between emotional intelligence and all of the pieces of that, with happiness, resilience, trust, culture, how they all play a role. What are the solutions? How do you improve it? More than half of working Americans that we studied said that it would be great if colleges and universities were teaching resilience and happiness as part of their core curriculum. Some of them are, but not enough. which means that you as an organization, whether you're taking on new entry-level employees fresh out of college, or if you have people who have been with you for a long time, they haven't received that training, and it's up to you to make sure that training happens. Decide if that's going to be taught internally or if you're bringing in external coaches, speakers, trainers to help have this conversation. But hear this. Having the conversation one time will not improve emotional intelligence overnight. It needs to be part of the culture, part of the conversations, part of the shared communication, part of the ways that we work with both employees, directors, all the way up to our CEOs. They need to be happening. The conversations must be happening at every level of the organization, and they need to happen continually. Yes, you can still talk about profitability. You can still talk about productivity, but I promise both of those will increase as you improve the emotional wellness of your teams and your top talent. So be thinking about what that looks like for you. We are sharing some resources that are available for you in the show notes below. I also encourage you to download both volumes 1 and 2 of the United States Happiness Report are available for you. In the first one, you'll understand a little bit more about emotional wellness and happiness in general. In volume 2, we're really diving into leadership and the effects of leadership on emotional wellness in the organization. I encourage you to look at both of those and to see the additional resources that are there. You can get them through the link provided, but they're also available at speakmichelle.com/research. And I want you to know that we're committed to helping you. Our organization has a lot to offer in terms of how we can help you build emotional wellness in your organization and help you retain and recruit top talent. We're wishing you all the best. Please stay tuned for our next video where we'll be talking more about how to increase productivity and innovation in your organization.